Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Little. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I have no clue if we're live or not. Interesting. If you're here, let me know. There's a chance I'm on the wrong Instagram account. Instagram, am I on JCardShark? Or am I on something different? Alright, I think I'm on JCardShark. Good. You don't stream for 2 weeks, and it's as if you don't exist anymore. That's why Twitch is tough, by the way, because on Twitch you have to stream literally, well, a lot, or be a gigantic name. Otherwise, people will forget that you are alive. But it looks like we are alive. Good, good, good. I'm glad you all did not forget who I am. You met me in Baja Mar. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got absolutely butchered at Baja Mar. Just returned from the Bahamas. To be fair, I only played like 7 tournaments. Maybe less, maybe fewer. And I actually had 7 starting stacks in the main event. And then I was out about 2 hours later. So that's fun. No cash, no money. It was good though, because I was in for 1 bullet on every tournament I played. Actually, that's not true. The PLO tournament, there's a 1,000 PLO that I was in for 2 bullets. So I was in for 1 bullet every time. Being in for 1 bullet every time makes it to where you don't actually lose all that much money even when you lose. To be fair, I lost like 25K or something, but feels kind of like even, honestly. Given the way I did not win any tournaments, being down like, well, 7 buy-ins, but, you know, not actually all that big of buy-ins, wasn't that big of a deal. So that's not so bad. I was inspired so much by the great series of Baja Mar to go to the next big party poker series in London. That'll be in early January, so that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. The main events are, I think the main event there is $5,000, 5,000 pounds. I'm not exactly sure. Doesn't matter. Party Poker puts on a great series, so I'm certainly going to be going back. Oh, fun enough. I'm just sitting here looking at this card. I got to meet James Holzhauer of Jeopardy, and he gave me this card. Isn't that neat? It's a signed James Holzhauer card. He plays Jeopardy. I was looking up this online. I was thinking, this has to be worth something. Right? It has to be worth something. Turns out, these things are selling for about $100 on eBay. That's cool. I don't know if this one actually sells for that much on eBay, because this is a player sample issue that you only get from the actual person who... Can we focus? Can we focus here, camera? Can't focus. There we go. You see player sample issue at the bottom? Sorry, Instagram, you're getting neglected here. Can you see player sample issue at the bottom, Instagram? Well, it's not going to focus. Anyway, that's a lot. That's pretty cool. I thought it was cool. We got to play a trivia contest. I teamed up with Alan Kessler. I assumed Alan Kessler must be like the most genius when it comes to knowing stuff. Turns out he didn't know much of anything. Everything he knew, I knew, and then I knew a few more things. But, oh man, I feel kind of robbed. To be fair, one of them was my fault. They asked, what is the subtitle of the upcoming Star Wars movie? And my goodness, how embarrassing is it to me that I put The Return of Skywalker. How embarrassing. And then also, they asked, what is Amarillo Slim's real name? And I guess I shouldn't feel too bad because no one in the room got that. But we wrote Preston. Period. Oops. Just Preston. And apparently, just Preston is not enough. We needed Thomas Preston. So I feel like we got robbed on Thomas Preston. If we got Thomas Preston, we would have been in the finals. If I said The Rise of Skywalker, and they gave us Preston, then we would have been the team that got the most points. But that's okay. When you play poorly, you do not get rewarded. Such is life. It was funny, actually, in the finals. Mike Sexton was essentially asking teams of people how, like questions that only Mike Sexton would know. For example, there was one, I don't even remember the question, but like who won the 1976 downhill Olympic gold medal or something like that. And he's like, oh man, you haven't seen that video? I watched that video last night on Instagram or YouTube. It was the greatest downhill skiing you've ever seen in your life. It's like, Mike, how's anybody going to possibly know that? He asked, who's the only player to win heads up at the World Series of Poker with pocket aces? I was actually close on this one, but I did not come up with the right name. I say close. I picked out an old school guy that took second place. You all know? One person actually knew this in the finals. James Holzhauer, by the way. Jeopardy champion. Did not win. I got to meet James. We talked for a while. We talked during the main event. He's a nice guy. The person who lost with aces heads up in the World Series main event is Dewey Tomko. Do you all know Dewey Tomko? Dewey Tomko is apparently one of the biggest crushers in golf betting. Go figure. How many buy-ins you need for a good cash game bankroll? Oh, we haven't promoted this in enough time. Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. It'll all be there. So anyway, it was fun. I had really rough table draws, given the tournament was relatively soft. Like, day one, there was this Winamax Pro, a good player on my direct right, and they were like filming him the whole time. And I actually ended up taking almost all of his chips. So maybe we'll get some TV time on the Winamax TV if they decide to air me hero calling with the nut low almost. They may put that on there because Jonathan Little called with almost a nut low and it was good. They probably won't air that. And then the next day I had Chris Unichin on my left, very, very world-class player, and also a few other tough players to his left. And I got Chris to bluff off to me. That was nice. I had top set. He had nothing. But then I made trips and lost, and then I lost a flip to Chris for the majority of both of our stacks. Chris went on to take, I think, third place in the tournament for $1 million. I got a kick in the rump. So anyway, that's that. Do you ever think about quitting poker after such a bad downswing? Well, first off, for 7 tournaments is not a bad downswing. Do not forget, I won this trophy just like 2 series ago. And realized that poker is tough. You're going to have swings. There's a lot of variance in tournaments, and you know what you sign up for. It's very important to understand what you signed up for. I was listening to a comedy special last night by Mike, what's his name? Bibliagra or something like this? I'm terrible with names. Andy Frankenberg turned me on to this. Thank you, Andy. And basically said that most men don't know what they're signing up for when they have children. And I think it's actually true. But I know what I'm signing up for when I had kids, and I know what I signed up for when I became a professional poker player. I understood variance before I jumped in, and such is life. What do you want? Oh, look who we have, a special Thanksgiving Day treat. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Are you off from school today? Can you say hello to everybody? Can you speak well? I know you know how to speak well. Are you shy? Are you being shy? James is all grown up. James was supposed to, well, there's no school today because it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Did you have a Thanksgiving party yesterday? What did you do?
A pie.
You had apple pie?
Yeah.
At school?
Yeah.
Nice. Was it fun?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite friend at school? Do you like Caroline?
No.
Do you like James H?
No.
Do you like Darius?
No.
Who's your favorite friend? Are you going to talk to them or no? Okay, you have to go then. Bye-bye.
Caroline.
Oh, you like Caroline?
Because I like pistol.
You like what?
Pistol.
I don't know what word you're saying.
Pistol.
Pistol?
No, pistol.
Pictures. You like a picture?
No, I like your door.
You like the door?
Yeah.
All right. James is saying nonsense, so I'm going to make him leave. You have to go. Say bye-bye to everybody.
Bye-bye.
Can you say Happy Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Bye-bye. See ya. Thanks for coming in. You're a good boy and always very curious. All right. So today we're going to talk about being thankful and things that I am thankful for. Because it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, at least in America. So, what is Jonathan Little thankful for, and what should people consider being thankful for? So, first things first, they're the very obvious things, right? Family, right? My parents raised me to be at least a reasonable human. My wife, my 2 kids, all that is great and well. And also extended family. I have a great extended family. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, all that. It's not always like amazing with all of them, but I'm very thankful for that. And if you have good people around you, make sure they know that you appreciate them, right? Something I always find interesting about humans is that after someone dies, everyone then goes and talks about how great those people are. Yeah, that doesn't really do those people a whole lot of good. And if someone out there helps you, or you've benefited, or you just appreciate that person, they may not even know it, right? Let them know. And that will go a long way, because after they're dead and gone, it's not really going to do a whole lot of good to memorialize them. I mean, maybe a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who do great work who don't actually know or recognize the great work they have done. Especially if they're not like out in the public, like if you're on social media, people are going to tell you all the time you're great if you're actually doing good work. But there are a lot of people who don't know that they are appreciated, so let them know. Next, friends. I have a great friend group, right? That is something to be very thankful for. I was very bad at cultivating friendships for a long time, and to be fair, I'm certainly not good at it at the moment. But when you have kids, it's hard to have friends. Your kids become your friends, I guess. But very thankful for that. Thankful for having a decent amount of money. That is fortunate. People say money doesn't make you happy, but it sure does provide you opportunities to figure out what makes you happy. My mentors. I have a great set of mentors who I've learned an infinite amount of things from. And I also have a great set of mentees. To be fair, you are all kind of my mentees to some extent. If you wake up and listen to me talk about whatever you want me to talk about for an hour every once in a while. Mentees are great too. So these are very obvious things people are thankful for. Let's see what Kanye West has to say. If you admire someone, you should go ahead and tell them. People never get flowers while they can still smell them. Indeed. So there are obvious things people are thankful for, but I really wanted to talk more about things that are perhaps not so obvious that I am thankful for, that you should also at least consider in your life. Oh, I forgot to mention, we had a giveaway the other day where we were giving away my entire catalog that I am putting on sale for all of you for Black Friday. We had a drawing. We're giving this to Tom Duchesne. Probably saying that wrong. Tom Duchesne wins the Black Friday catalog. If you, by the way, have not checked out my Black Friday sale, check it out. We pushed it live just last night at pokercoaching.com/Black Friday. We are making many of the products that I have available very, 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 very cheap. And it's honestly cheaper than I wanted to sell them for, because I realize I have to make money. You all may not believe this, but I spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars every year making content for you. And I don't even have to pay myself, right? I'm talking like the other people who make content. And I'm happy to do it. I don't mind. But, we got to make some money. When we give stuff away or make it very cheap on Black Friday, we don't really make much money. But that's okay. I don't mind. Check it out. You can get Poker Coaching Premium, an annual subscription. Normally that's $199 a month. Call it $1,200 a year. For Black Friday, it's only $5.99. So check it out. Also, we have many, many other products that were normally sold for like $100 for like $15 or $10 or whatever. It's a value. pokercoaching.com/Black Friday. All right, so what are some less obvious things that I am thankful for? First off, luck of the draw. It's very important to realize that if you have a smartphone or a computer, you pretty much have the power to take control of your life and do whatever you want within reason. Sometimes not within reason. And I think a lot of people don't quite realize the great opportunity they are in. A lot of people just want to complain about their situation, but realize if you have a smartphone, which I apparently cannot get this stand to have Instagram perfectly straight up. If you have a smartphone, you have more computing power in your pocket than almost every person who's ever lived on Earth, right? There was some stat to something to the effect of there's more computing power in your pocket than like Ronald Reagan had as the president not so long ago. And I don't know if Ronald Reagan's right, but maybe it was Jimmy Carter. I don't know who it was. One of the presidents. Anyway, you have many, many tools at your disposal that will allow you to do whatever you want within reason. I use the tools, the internet, to learn how to play poker, right? And then I used my poker skills to learn how to make money, right? And then used those skills to learn how to help other people learn how to play poker and make money. And then use those resources to significantly better your life in whatever way you want to better it, right? It's up to you. Completely up to you. And I think that's very, very important to do, to try to help others. So realize that most of you here are all very lucky. I mean, I'm also lucky that I was born in America, right? America's a fine place to be born. There are plenty of places in the world still where you would rather not be born. Well, I don't know. We're getting on touchy subjects. Would you rather be born if you're in a really, really bad scenario? I don't know. But anyway, America's a perfectly fine place to be born. If you were born in any country that has internet, sewage, water, food, you're pretty lucky. And you need to be thankful for that and make sure you don't squander your opportunity. So many people out there completely squander their opportunity. They're unhappy. They don't like their situation. Yet their situation is better than almost every human that's ever lived. So recognize that. Next, I'm relatively smart, right? My brain works. My body works, right? And that's just fortunate, right? I mean, there are a lot of people who have physical problems or mental problems that are difficult to overcome, and I've not really had much of that, so that's also lucky. I'm a white man, right? I mean, I'm not disadvantaged in any way, and in this current world, that is lucky. Maybe that changes in the future, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But anyway, I'm in a very advantageous situation just purely by chance, right? And I think a lot of people don't recognize that because people always think that they have it difficult. Everyone wants to think that they are struggling or having a difficult time or whatnot. I mean, I don't think I have this mindset so much compared to others. Like, I remember when I used to work at McDonald's a long time ago. Super easy job. And I realized it was a super easy job. Yet, everyone around me was stressing out and losing their minds. And it's like, why? Why are these people stressing out and losing their minds? It's the easiest job in the world. Something comes up on the screen, you make it, and then you stand there until something else comes up. And in the meantime, if you want to be proactive, you clean stuff. That's all the job is. And they all thought it was very, very difficult. And every job I've ever had, everyone likes to try to think it is very difficult. And it's often not, right? You just think it is because people want to feel as if what they are doing, I guess, has meaning. Again, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. These are just purely from my thoughts. How do you reconcile poker not actually contributing to society? Well, I personally help a lot of other people enjoy their hobby. And look, it's perfectly fine to have a hobby and have fun, right? I don't know the purpose of life, but I definitely think you need to enjoy your life. It's very, very important to enjoy your life. Also, you all may not believe this. Even though I play poker and teach poker, my job, my calling is not really to help all of you play poker better. My calling is to help you enjoy your life better. And a guy who I like, Gary Vaynerchuk, has this concept of clouds and dirt. The dirt, where I work hard and spread my message, is the poker table. That just happens to be my field of choice. Because that's what I know better than anything else, right? And the clouds are helping... What is the big picture? What are we really trying to do here? We are trying to help people enjoy their lives, enjoy their hobby, have success, and feel good, you know? Basically, have a better life. That is what we are really trying to accomplish here. And, you know, I don't necessarily come out and say that because then you start sounding almost like, I don't even know, a life coach or something. I'm not trying to be a life coach. I am trying to, however, to make all of you enjoy your experience. And I think a lot of people are not so concerned with that. They just want to do their own thing or help themselves only. And it's important to recognize, like, what do you really want out of life? How do you actually influence people for the better? And you do that by helping people. And it just so happens that I spent my young years learning how to play poker, and that's the thing I know best. So how can I take what I know best to help other people, help them learn to play poker, throw in a little life advice here and there, and hopefully people will be better for it long term. All right, next. I have plenty of opportunities. Opportunity is very important. I have plenty of opportunities. Like I said, if you all are here with a smartphone or a computer, you have way more opportunities than most people. I mean, recognize, just like 200 years ago, if you were born to someone who was a farmer, you're probably going to be a farmer, right? If you were born to someone who was a blacksmith, you're probably going to be a blacksmith. Now, the world has changed significantly, and that is fortunate for everyone who is around today, right? To where now you don't have to go into the family business. You don't have to fall into a specific job based on your, like, where you were born or who you were born to. You can kind of do whatever you want, right? And that is very, very fortunate. So, opportunity. Next, awareness. Awareness of the fact that I'm not in a bad spot, right? I'm in an amazing spot. And that is fortunate because so many people think that, like, they don't look outside of themselves. They are only concerned with exactly what they have going on. And I mean, you see this in poker all the time where someone, like, loses a poker hand and they think, oh my god, my world's falling apart. They go on tilt, they lose their money, they go and they drink and do drugs and pass out and wake up and do it all over again. And inevitably that eventually ruins their lives. And it's because they think losing a poker hand is relevant. And it's not, right? It just doesn't matter. I mean, someone asked us a second ago, you think about quitting poker after losing 7 tournaments. It's like, what are you talking about? No, because it doesn't matter. 7 tournaments is irrelevant. 50 tournaments is irrelevant. Look, I could very easily break the next 50 tournaments I play, and I realize that could be the case. Probably not, but it could be the case. As long as you play soft tournaments, you're going to have a decent number of caches if you know how to play. But even then, if you're 20% to hit something, if you do it enough times, you're going to go 50 in a row with no caches. It's going to happen. Ryan says, biggest opportunity my parents gave you was to make mistakes without destroying you. Yeah, it's important to let people make their own mistakes and learn from them. If there is a skill I wish I could teach to my kids, which I don't even know if it's possible to really teach people this skill, it'd be the ability to learn from others' mistakes. That way you don't have to make the mistakes yourself. And, I mean, look, clearly everyone's been told many, many things to not do, yet we all seem to just butcher ourselves anyway. And it's tough. It's tough. Eric, if you're new to poker coaching, send us an email. We are actually releasing guides in the very near future to help people get started because, like you said, there's infinite information there. So send us an email, ask for the learning paths that we are making, and we'll send that to you. Some call mistakes, some call experience. Well, some things you really don't want to do wrong. For example, like say you're a young person, you really don't want to rob a liquor store, right? That's a mistake you don't want to make. You really don't want to physically harm someone to the point that you maim them or kill them, right? You don't want to do that. So, like, there are some mistakes you don't want to make. And to be fair, like, most people learn these things. You don't want to go and rob the store. You don't want to go and kill people. You don't want to do stuff like that. Yet, obviously there's a line of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. Like, getting a score wrong, getting a question wrong on a test is fine. Whereas, I don't know. You get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, some mistakes you don't want to make. Yet some people do still make these mistakes. So I want to make sure my kids do not make the detrimental mistakes. And I also want to make sure, with any luck, that they, like, I can just tell them, don't drink alcohol, and they just won't drink alcohol. And I can just tell them, don't become a degenerate gambler, and they just won't become a degenerate gambler. Yet, I recognize they still just may. And that's scary, right? Because, I mean, if I could just tell them, if I could just write a laundry list of 20 things that if you never did them, you'd be, like, the best human ever, and just give it to someone, I'm sure that I could do that. It's probably like only 10 things you should not do, and you'll be great. Or 10 things that you should do, whatever. Yet no one does all of them. Why do they not do all of them? Because us humans are, well, not so bright. The actual problem is, I think, is that our subconscious rules us for the most part. And you, like, just knowing something is not enough. You have to, like, know it in your subconscious, which is a very different thing. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. So that's awareness. Next, I'm thankful for a lack of ego. You may say only someone with a big ego would say they lack an ego. But think about poker players, right? So many of them play poker purely, or almost purely, to try to make themselves seem like they know what they are doing or seem like they are successful. Okay? What I mean by this is a lot of people, whenever they make a play, good or bad, they will try to justify it, either out loud, sometimes you hear people justifying stuff out loud, or in their minds. In the main event of the tournament that I ended up losing, there was a spot where, button raised, I called big blind with 10-3 offsuit. You may say, why are you calling with 10-3 offsuit? The answer is because I know math and I have lots of data and it's good. All right, flop comes king 10-4. I check, opponent bets, I call. At this point, I standard call, fine. Turn was a 6. There's a flush draw on the flop, so king 10-4 flush draw. I check the turn, opponent bets again. Now, I was really close to folding, and I don't know actually why I called. Well, I know why I called, because I probably should, based on GTO, but I kind of thought that the opponent was strong. If I think the opponent's strong, I should probably fold this hand. Now, what does strong mean? Strong could be like ace-jack with a flush draw, right? Or strong could be top set. If I call, I have about a pot-sized bet left on the river. Maybe a little bit more than pot-sized bet, 1.5x pot. So anyway, I called. I should have just folded there, though. River was at 10, so I make trips. And now, given all the draws missed, I elected to rip it all in to look like I had no showdown value. And he snap called, he had 10-4. So he had top and bottom, or he had middle and bottom pair, turn blasted it, and then river made a full house. So lost a bunch of chips. That's a scenario where a lot of people would just look at that spot and say, all right, pre-flop standard, flop standard, turn standard, rivers standard. You're losing all your money there. And to be fair, yes, you are losing all your money on that river. But I don't think I should have gotten to the river. And a lot of people say, oh, just fold pre-flop. But folding pre-flop would have actually been almost definitively bad. Facing a min-raise from the big blind against a recreational player. So that's definitively bad. Folding top pair on the flop is definitively bad. Or middle pair on the flop is definitively bad. The turn, though, is where it gets dicey. And I think that is the spot where live reads plus, is this guy really betting big on the turn? That's a scenario where I need to get out of the way, right? And if I had ego problems, I would just think, oh, unlucky, move on with my life. The people who think that they are unlucky, they may not recognize they have ego problems, but they really do have severe ego problems because they are unwilling to say that I potentially made errors. And you did potentially make errors. Something I read a long time ago by a high-stakes poker player said something to the effect of, anytime I win or lose a session, I realize it is purely my fault. And that's interesting to think about. You may say, what if you just played great and got unlucky? Yeah, maybe, but also you chose to play the game, right? You recognize what you signed up for. And also, you probably didn't play great anyway. I mean, people make mistakes when they play poker all the time, right? And it's important to make sure you are accountable for the things that you are due. A lot of people really don't like being accountable. And in most jobs, you're really not all that accountable. Because if you're working with a team, you can often make somebody else look like they were accountable. Like say you're on a team of 6 people and somebody has to get fired because you all butchered this project. Even if you were actually to blame, quite often you just won't get fired because there's 6 other guys and boss doesn't know what's going on. Sometimes the boss gets fired and all of you get off the hook. Sometimes all of you get fired and then you're in it together, right? So very rarely does the person to blame actually get the punishment. But poker's neat in that sometimes you get punished hard for doing great, sometimes you get punished for doing well, sometimes you win when you do great, sometimes you win when you do poorly. So it's an interesting game. But it's important to realize that you are to blame for much of what you have in your life. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in a little bit. Because some of these things I'm thankful for are purely luck. And some of these things I'm thankful for are some luck and some skill. Okay, so next, desire to improve. I am thankful that I have the desire to improve my scenario. And It's tough to say if I've actually improved my life or not, but I think I have, right? In theory, like I've moved up socioeconomic classes compared to my parents and their parents. To be fair, my parents moved up as well. So, like, my family has a line of progressing. I don't know much beyond 3 generations ago, but I know generation to generation, we are at least accumulating more wealth and still having kids, right? So now I don't know what exactly defines success, because having money does not mean you are necessarily successful. It's very important to realize. But for whatever reason, the desire to improve is in my genes to some extent, or maybe we're just lucky. Maybe we just happen to have improved. You don't know, right? So the desire to improve, I think, is very important. A lot of people just don't have the drive to change their scenarios. And some people say, well, maybe they haven't hit rock bottom yet. But like, I never hit rock bottom or anything. I just came out ready to go. That's pretty much it. Next, discipline. Discipline / work ethic. I kind of have these combined together, where you need to be willing to sit down and do the work. It turns out, from I've talked to a lot of my mentors about this, like what makes people successful. It is pretty much the desire to improve and work ethic and discipline. Like essentially the desire to do what you need to do, what you know you need to do. And what happens to a lot of people is they may know what they need to do, but they just don't do it. They'd rather watch TV or play a video game or whatever. Other people, they may have good work ethic, but they don't actually care to improve, so they end up working on things that don't matter. And, I mean, recognize being busy does not necessarily mean you are being productive, right? Good example of this. Look at this. Look at this box right here. I have a box full of toys and stickers and bags. I have to make gift bags for James's and Thomas's birthday party. They're having a birthday party in a few days. And somebody has to make the gift bags. And I'm going to do it. It's actually probably a pretty bad use of my time if you think about it, right? I could be doing a little coffee or making videos or books for all of you. Probably way more productive, at least in terms of hourly rate, because for this I make literally no money. But, you know, we're going to do something. But it's not all that productive. In theory, if I cared about super maximizing money, I'd hire somebody on like TaskRabbit to do it and pay him $20, right? But we're not going to do that. So that's a good example. Well, it's an example. It's not a good example. I just happen to be sitting here looking at these. I have 3 boxes here of goodies. Can you all see them? They're down there. I have 3 boxes of goodies in addition to the other one I have of stuff I have to put into gift bags. Why? Because I guess children think they need gift bags. Chat Revoked says, today is your youngest 9th birthday. Happy birthday, Chat Revoked. Don't get your chat revoked again. By the way, if you're out there and someone decides to ban your chat or block you on the internet, maybe not block you on the internet, if they decide to, if you come to their place, recognize my YouTube channel, my email list, my Twitter chat, this is my home. If you come to someone's home and they kick you out, what does that say about you? Think about that, right? There's a few people on Twitter who enjoy trying to berate me on a regular basis. And this one dude's on like his 89th account because he makes the same initials and just like a different number. I don't know what his initials are. Let's say RXZ93. He's like on number 93. That's not the year he was born. You would think it was, given the asinine things he says. But he started at like 0. They just said 1 and 2 and 3. And like these people don't realize that like you're allowed to kick people out of their house. You're out of your house. Like you're allowed to kick people out. And you don't have to deal with people. So if you get your chat revoked, you probably need to grow up. That's essentially what it amounts to. Okay. Again, I don't know if that, just the words chat revoked got me going. They probably never had your chat revoked in your life. Maybe one time. Okay, next. I am thankful that I realized the value in giving back, because I did not always realize this. I thought life was purely about taking and benefiting yourself. And I think a lot of people have this mentality just naturally. They think it's you against the world. But that is not really true. Especially once you have succeeded to some extent, your goal is to give back. Do we go to politics here? Maybe a little, sure. There are a lot of billionaires right now in the world that are catching a lot of hate. Yet a lot of these billionaires have all vowed, or a lot of them have vowed, to give back all of their money by the time they die. Or 95% of their money, or whatever. And I think that is a good thing. It's highly admirable to accumulate wealth and then give it back. I mean, look what I've done, right? I've accumulated knowledge in the poker space. And I could hoard it. I definitely could hoard it. Most poker players do hoard it. But some of them give back. Now, obviously, I get paid to give back. But at the same time, I am very confident that my work has provided value, right? And a lot of people realize once you accumulate things, anything, your goal then becomes to spread the love. Magic the Gathering cards are a good example of this. Whenever I used to play Magic the Gathering when I was a kid. Like, I would have all these Magic cards worth no money, but I would just take some of them to the card store and just give them away, right? Just give them to people who were new to the game, or give them to kids or whatever, because it had almost no value to me, and I was very good at accumulating them because I would win Magic tournaments. Yet, a lot of other people were not, but they still experienced joy, right? They experienced joy from this. And some people, like the billionaires, just happen to be very good at accumulating wealth. Maybe they're lucky. Sure, they're all lucky to some extent. But they have accumulated wealth. In theory, you would rather the billionaires hold on to the money and continue accumulating because they are the best ones at accumulating, in theory, because they've accumulated the best thus far. Obviously, past results don't necessarily indicate future results. But, like a stock, for example. Take a stock. If you have a stock that pays a dividend, what is that stock saying by paying a dividend? They're saying, we think we cannot manage your money as well as you can. They're saying that they think they are not actually, we can't do anything else with this money. A lot of people love dividend stocks because it's like you're just getting paid back all the time. But if you think about it, you would rather not get paid back. You would rather them take that money and instead of just giving it back to you and saying, here, you can do better than us, I'd rather them hold on to it and continue running it up, right? Like, I mean, for example, the poker backing company that I'm a part of, we move people up in stakes. We move people down too if they're bad, but we move people up in stakes as they get better at poker. As they become better stewards of our money, they get to hold more of the money, right? Because they are going to continue to give us a return, a higher return. So, if anything, you want to give money to people who will continue to multiply your money. And if the billionaires are going to give back the majority of their money by the time they're dead, well, let them run it up, right? Run it up as fast as you can. So anyway, it's fun stuff. Anyway, we're not discussing what is actually good or bad here. I'm just saying people who are good at getting money, who will also give the money back eventually, we should give them as much time as they possibly can to get a hold of the money. Then give it back. All right, next. So yeah, all these things I'm thankful for. Some of these things are purely luck, and some of them are luck plus skill. And in life, you should typically focus on the things that are highly skill-based, right? Because that's the only thing you can really affect. So for example, family. You do not control who you are born to. Purely luck. But you do control, well, at least most people control who they marry. I don't know if most is even right. Most people in America control who they marry. I don't know about other countries still. Some other countries, you have to marry a specific person. But, when you say you have to, I don't even know if that's necessarily true. Maybe you can be disowned by your parents that were purely luck, and then marry someone you want. I don't know. Again, we're not going to get into politics religion, socio society-based things. I don't know. I'm not all that smart, as you can tell by even talking about some topics. So you don't pick who you're born to. You do have a decision in who you marry, right? You have a decision as to whether or not you have kids, but you don't get to decide who your kids are. It's very important to realize when you have kids, you're kind of obligated to love your kids no matter what. But your kids are not obligated to love you no matter what. A lot of people get sad and depressed whenever their kids don't like them. But I think they're really more sad and depressed about the fact that they did not raise their kids in a way that their kids like them, or they're doing such a poor job that their kids don't like them. And realize that your kids are not obligated to like you. At least I don't think they are. You may say, oh, but I gave a lot to them, right? You give, and then maybe your kid still doesn't like you, and such is life. But you had your kid. You need to love them. They did not choose to be had by you. So anyway, a little spiel on that. Sure, that's going to go over well. Next, wealth. Do you get to choose if you have wealth? Well, certainly accumulating wealth is a skill game. I think that's pretty obvious. And you should at least, if you care about getting money, then you should work on figuring out ways to get money. And I mean, there's easy ways to get a hold of little bits of money. I mean, getting a hold of a little bit of money is not hard. For example, you can go get free stuff on Facebook, right? People just be giving away stuff, like a couch or a TV that's old. Then you can turn around and sell it on Craigslist for $10 or $50 or whatever. And you can make 10 or 50 or $20 very, very, very quickly. Learning to play sit and goes, for example. An easy way to turn $50 into more money. Right? I think sit and goes are a great way to get a hold of a little bit of money, like $1,000 or $5,000. It's not a great way to get rich, but it's a great way to turn a little bit into a medium amount. The problem you can't get rich there because the game is tough. And the game's tough as you move up to the high stakes, so the edges become very, very tiny. But in the small stakes, there's almost no variance. You can put in a lot of volume, and you can just run it up about at a $10 per hour rate. So it's easy to get a hold of a little bit of money. And from there, you have to learn how to start turning little bits of money into more money. It's hard to do. I think I did a webinar about this at some point. I'm sure I did, actually. Good luck finding that. If I can't think of the title of it or the URL of it, it's lost to the internet. It's in the internet somewhere, but it's lost in there. Mentors and mentees. Well, you certainly get to pick your mentees to some extent, at least the ones you're very hands-on with. And your mentors, you can try. You know, a neat trick you can do to have a mentor without them even knowing you exist is study everything that person puts out. And whenever you have a difficult scenario, ask yourself what your mentor would say. And I bet you will come up with something that's pretty reasonable. And like your mentor doesn't even have to be alive today, you know? Like you can find people who you cared about or who were influential to you in their thought process or their mindset or their thinking or whatever. You can ask, let's be an egomaniac. How would Jonathan Little respond to this? And you can probably figure it out because I tell all of you exactly what I think. And then you know what Jonathan Little would say. And then you can pick if you want to do it or not, right? And that's very, very valuable. I mean, I do this with some world-class poker players and like people who have influenced the poker space significantly. I ask, how would they reply, right? And then I try to do better because of it. I mean, a good example of this is instead of just going to my room and sitting in my room by myself and studying poker all day when I go to a poker trip, I get out and I try to interact with people. I go and I hang out at the after party or go out to dinner with people or just sit and talk or whatever. And that is because that is what the people who are the most successful in the business side of poker do. They get out, they bump shoulders, and they make things happen that require other people. Whereas if you just go back to your room and run solvers, I mean, yeah, it's nice. You learn something, but there's only so much you're going to learn. Okay, next. Luck of the draw. Clearly, you don't control the luck of the draw. You don't control where you were born, who you were born to, how much money your parents have, what country you're born in. You don't control any of that. It's completely luck. Awareness. Do you control the level of awareness you have? I don't know. I guess in my brain, I kind of feel like everyone's pretty unaware, pretty oblivious whenever they are young. I mean, I sure was. At least I think I was. Maybe I was actually not. I don't know. But I think eventually if you talk to and or listen to enough people, it will rub off on you. And I mean, podcasts are a great example of this, where I have learned a ton, just by listening to podcasts while I'm at the gym or while I'm traveling or whatever. Just listening to other smart, wise people talk will go a long way to helping you improve your skills, right? And so find people who resonate with you, who are bettering the world. If the people that who resonate with you are tearing down the world, if their shtick is berating people and belittling people, that's probably not going to be so useful for you. That's just going to make you a bad person. But if you want to be a good person and continue bettering the world, find people who are out there bettering the world. And then do that. Figure out how they're doing what they're doing, learn from them, read whatever material they make, watch whatever videos they make. And I mean, this applies not just to poker, but like all aspects of life. And I think that is a very, very beneficial thing for you to do. Evan Jarvis says, is the video the one with Mike Sexton? No. I do have a video of Mike Sexton, what to do once you've won $1 million. But I think I did another video where I'm like, okay, say you have no money. How do you turn no money into 100? How do you turn 100 to 1,000? How do you turn 1,000 to 10,000? How do you turn 10,000 to 100,000? How do you turn 100,000 to 1,000,000? Because that's the progression a lot of people have to go through. And it's different as you move up. Maybe we'll talk about that one day. Maybe I should just redo that. I feel like maybe I did it in a little coffee. I probably did it in a little coffee a long time ago. If you search YouTube, I'm sure someone can find it. All right, next. Lack of ego. I think lack of ego is a tough one. I think I was very fortunate as a young person in that somehow I was funneled into competitive environments where you are going to fail. And if you fail and if you have an ego and you fail and you refuse to improve, you will continue failing. And obviously, well, I say obviously, I don't particularly enjoy failing. And for that reason, I try to not fail. So you have to learn from other people. You have to realize I don't know what I am doing. I don't know as well as other people who are doing better than me what I'm doing, right? And like, for example, when I was young, I played chess with my dad. My dad would beat me all the time. So what did I do? I took my allowance money and I bought a book on how to get better at chess. And you know what? I studied it till it fell apart. And then I got better at chess, and then I started beating my dad. And I started beating everyone in my school. And it's not because I was good at chess. I was bad at chess when I first started. But I studied, right? From somebody who was better than me. From some grandmaster somewhere, right? Same thing with playing the trumpet. I was not a naturally great trumpet player. But I decided I didn't want to be bad anymore in my 10th grade year of school. So I practiced all summer between 9th and 10th grade. And I came back, and I was the best trumpet player in the whole county, playing against 12th graders and people who had 2 years more experience than me, which is actually a lot when you only have 3 or 4 years of experience, right? They have double the experience in terms of time, or 50% in terms of time. But somehow I was better. How was I better? I wanted to get significantly better, right? I had a lack of ego and a desire to improve that allowed me to learn from people who are better. What about Magic the Gathering? Yeah, Magic the Gathering. I remember there were a few books on Magic the Gathering, and they're like classics now. And I studied them rigorously. I remember I went to Books A Million, and I didn't have enough money for the book. The book was like $30. And I sat there and I read it for like 4 hours at a time at Books A Million while my mom went shopping or whatever. And yeah, I mean, learn from people who are better than you. There's a whole lot of value in education. I proved that in poker too. I was a bad poker player when I first started. I was way too tight, way too nitty, didn't want to put a chip in the pot. And even today, like, I'm relatively risk averse in most aspects of life. Yet I realize that to really crush it, you have to be willing to take educated risks for small amounts of your bankroll. I realize that's just the right play, right? If it's the right play, you just do it. So then, kind of like desire to improve work ethic and discipline all kind of go hand in hand, I guess. And then so do you control those things? I think you kind of do control your discipline level. You have to figure out what you actually care about and what you perhaps feel like you care about but don't. A good example of this is whatever you do goofing off. Like, what do you do in your goof off time and how much time is allotted to your goof off time? For example, going out to the club or to bars. How often do you go out to clubs or bars, right? To do purely social things that do not impact your business whatsoever. Or like watching sports, right? Say you're not a sports bettor, you're not trying to make money. If you bet $10 on a game, you're not a sports bettor, okay? You're goofing off. How much time do you allot to your goof outs, or how much time do you allot to your goof off time? And if it is a lot, it means that you value that more than making money for your family or for yourself or bettering your, bettering yourself essentially. And look, I'm all for having hobbies. I'm all for having goof off time. But realize that whatever time you spend goofing off is being taken away from other things that may actually be more important to you. So you need to figure out what you actually care about and do that. Next, giving back. Yeah, you can give back. You should give back as much as you realistically can without really impacting your ability to continue doing what you are good at. I wrote in one of my books that, I think it was Jonathan Little on Live No Limit Cash Games Volume 2, that charity, giving away money, is something that has actually ruined a lot of poker players. Not a lot, some poker players. You may say, what do you mean? Charity's great. I know a few poker players who had, let's say, $300,000 to their name, and they took $100,000 of it and they gave it away. And then they kept playing as if they had a $300K bankroll with only a $200K bankroll, and inevitably they went broke. Should they have given away that $100K? You may say, oh, they would have lost it anyway. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. There was one time in my career where if I had given away a lot of my money, I would have gone broke. But I did not give away a lot of my money at that point. There's some other players who were crushing poker, and they decided, all right, I'm going to go do charity work back in my home country for a year. I think they were from Vietnam. They were crushing poker, doing great, decided to take a year off, go to Vietnam. Fine, they went to Vietnam. I'm sure they helped out a lot of people. They came back to America, and the game had passed them by. And they went broke. And again, you may say maybe they would have gone broke anyway. I don't know. What I am saying is that there is a time in your life where giving money starts to become irrelevant. A great example of this is Andrew Roble. Andrew Roble makes loads of money from playing poker. And every year he donates a few $100,000 that is publicly aware of. He donates a few $100,000 to charity every year. You may say, how does he donate a few $100,000 a year? It's because it doesn't impact his life at all. I don't know how much of his income that is. Maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 10%. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that he's not giving away a third of his money. He's giving away a sliver of it every year. Again, this is purely hypothetical. I just know that he does give away a lot. Every year he does give away a lot because he does a matching fund where whatever you give, he'll match it. Which is smart, right? And a lot of people do that kind of thing, where they give away a sliver of their income every year, and I think that's probably the way to go about doing it. Also, with your time. You probably don't want to donate all of your time, because if you donate all of your time for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, whatever your career choice is may pass you by. So you have to be smart about it, right? You control giving back. I am all for giving back, all for helping people. You see me doing this right now, right? It's completely free. Just show up and I'll talk to you for an hour. And I'm happy to do it. This is a form of giving back to the people who I actually think I can impact the most, which is great, because you all sort of self-selected to be here, right? You said, I think Jonathan Little can help me and entertain me and benefit my life, and here I am for you. So that's pretty much it for today. Realize the things you can control and things you can't, and be thankful for all of them, and do your best to continue progressing in the things that you have control over. So in terms of giving back, we're having the Black Friday sale. Go to pokercoaching.com/Black Friday. I have over 30 30 of my courses that I've made over the last 2 years available for you at a highly discounted price. Also, there's some content by other world-class poker players. We have our Excelling at No Limit Hold'em webinars on a big discount. They're only $15 each. We have courses from Phil Hellmuth, Mike Sexton, Olivier Bousquet, Jared Tendler, Ed Miller, Scott Clements, Matt Affleck, Alex Fitzgerald, Evan Jarvis, all of that and more. All of that is there. Also, we have Poker Coaching and Poker Coaching Premium memberships. If you get Poker Coaching Premium, by the way, it's normally $100 a month, but you can get a year for $600, so 50% off. If you get that, you have access to pretty much every piece of material I have made over the last few years, and then even more. And all the Excelling webinars are there, right? All of like my Cash Game Masterclass is there. A whole lot of stuff is there. And it's available for Poker Coaching Premium members. I tried to figure out how can I give people everything they need to go from being a losing poker player to a winning poker player. And I've taken many players from losing at 1-2 no limit or losing at small stakes tournaments to beating 5-10 no limit or $3,500 buy-in tournaments because they studied my material extensively. Like, they're working hard, right? And also they put in the time and the effort to get good. And you have to understand, when you hire a coach, you are taking all of their years of experience and getting it consolidated down to exactly what you need. And that is highly beneficial. So anyway, check that out at pokercoaching.com/Black Friday. That would be a huge benefit to me. And if you feel like giving back to me and my team, go for it. Realize that I have a team of many people. I have to pay them. I have to pay all the content creators. It's not cheap. I wonder how much I spend on stuff each year. It's a lot. I know it's I think about $200,000 I spend purely on content. And then we have the team we have to pay. Anyway, we have bills here. Help us out. Do we have pre-flop charts for tournaments, 30 to 100 big blinds deep? Realize those are very different numbers. And yes, we have implementable GTO charts at pokercoaching.com for 15 big blinds, 25 big blinds, 40 big blinds, 100 big blinds, etc., etc. So, yes, the answer is yes. At pokercoaching.com, it's under the Tools tab. Louis Philippe says, thanks for the show. It's done a lot for you. Well, that is the goal. Poker Coaching Premium is a great value. Highly recommend it. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Louis Philippe. I know some of you had seemingly random questions that did not apply to whatever we were talking about at all today. Maybe we'll get to those on Friday. Oh, by the way, I may or may not be here on Friday because on Friday, my wife has an off day and my kid has an off day. So we may go do something with the family. So I may not be here on Friday. I would say I'm probably 20% to be here on Friday, so don't count on it. I will definitely be back here on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll figure that out. Anyway, it's Thanksgiving. Be thankful. Tell people who you are thankful for that you are thankful for them because they may or may not know it, and that will brighten their day. It's an easy, free way for you to help someone else out and give them a little bit of joy in their life. So have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. Check out the Black Friday sale at pokercoaching.com/Black Friday. Tell your friends. Have a great holiday.